So you're all very, very welcome here to Teagasc Ashtown, a fantastic facility that we have here in Dublin, and on such a beautiful day. And I was just saying to somebody, I can't believe it's the 2nd of December. Where has the year gone? I suppose it's great to have everybody back in the room, an opportunity for us to meet face to face, which is absolutely fantastic. Already starting to feel the chatter and the energy in the room, which is brilliant as well. So let's try and keep that going over the course of the next few hours. My name is Pamela Byrne. I'm the Chief Executive of the Food Safety Authority of Ireland. And we are delighted today to be joined in the room by our strategic partners, Healthy Ireland and the Department of Health, esteemed members from the food industry, such as leading food manufacturers, retailers, and members of the out-of-home catering sector, researchers, university colleagues, and friends. So you're all very, very welcome to today's event, a food reformulation in Ireland, a workshop for food businesses. And it really is your workshop. It's an opportunity for you in industry to share, learn, and exchange information. Because food gives us life, like the air we breathe, it's something that we take for granted. But Ireland is globally recognised as a leader in the safety and integrity of food. And you, the food industry, play a crucial role in Ireland's food safety control system. It is your responsibility to place safe and trustworthy food on the market. And you do a super job in ensuring this, because Ireland does enjoy access to 180 export markets across the world. Protecting consumers is the job of the Food Safety Authority, from inspection to enforcement, from research to training, from scientific advice to creating awareness, from the farm gate all the way to your fork. The Food Safety Authority is working to ensure that we have a world-class food safety control system here in Ireland that supports food businesses and affords the greatest protections to consumers, both their health and also their interests. Irish food is something that we all, I think it's fair to say, are very immensely proud of. And we are esteemed as a food island. And as I said already, we do market our food to 180 markets across the world. We're unique in that we export 90% of what we produce. I go around the world and I hear from my colleagues in other countries where they're so dependent on food being imported into their country. So we do play a unique role, and we have a unique opportunity to influence consumers' health and indeed also protect that health and their interests across the world. In 2021, Ireland became the first in the first Global Food Security Index. We came first in that index, which is quite phenomenal when you think about it. A very small country with not such a huge population, but a very ambitious, very growing and very energized food industry. And to come first in such an important global index, particularly in the context of some of the challenges that we're all facing today. I'd like to recognise you and everyone in the room today for your efforts in achieving these successes, because it is really only by us all working together, collaboratively and in partnership, that we can be this successful. And this is due to the good quality food that you supply, that you manufacture, and the emphasis that you place on providing safe and trustworthy food to people in Ireland and across the world. So the question has to be asked then, if everything is so good, why are we asking you to reformulate the food? Because 2/3 of the Irish adult population are estimated to be overweight and obese. Obesity is starting in our young and vulnerable population. It often starts in childhood, those very formative years, especially in socially and economically disadvantaged families. And the incidence increases as children grow. Pre-pandemic figures show that overweight and obesity affects at least 16% of children and 24% of teenagers. And it's estimated that 2.2 million people in Ireland are overweight or are living with obesity. This has worsened during the pandemic, with 29% of the population aged 15 and upwards indicating in a recent Healthy Ireland survey that they've gained weight. So the problem is here. It was here before the pandemic. It's getting even worse as we speak. But why is obesity a problem? Put simply, obesity reduces life expectancy. It makes people more likely to get heart disease, to suffer from stroke, to have type 2 diabetes, to suffer from certain cancers and other diseases. These people are our families. They're our fathers, our mothers, our sisters, and our brothers. They are our children, they are our friends, they are our colleagues, they are us collectively. Obesity is often socially stigmatized, and it imposes huge additional costs on already overstretched health services. Earlier I spoke about how well our country does in terms of food globally. and how we're recognised for that. This is thanks to how committed you are to consumers and how agile you are in adapting to their needs. And I think there's one thing that's fair to say. The last few years have tested our ability to be agile and to be flexible, and we've showed up. We have become very agile and we have become adaptable. Let's take that flexibility that we've learned and that ability to be agile and take it forward. Because now it's time to step up again. In order to provide healthier food choices for consumers and to make healthier choices the easier choice, we must make use of the tools in our toolbox, and reformulation is an important tool in that toolbox. Yet we have to refine the tool, we have to hone the tool, and we have to learn how to use the tool properly. The world is changing, and while the food we produce is good quality, some of it is too high in calories, too high in sugar, too high in salt and saturated fat, and it is contributing negatively to the health of our nation. A 2020 report commissioned by Safe Food found that 89% of consumers in Ireland support the idea of the government working with industry to improve the nutritional content of processed packaged food. And the setting up of the National Task Force on Reformulation, with support from and funds from the Department of Health, is critical in the government demonstrating the real need for industry and the government to work together in this regard, and FSAI playing a critical leadership role in that. Through an FSAI poll run on LinkedIn at the end of May earlier this year, asking, is there a need to reduce salt, saturated fat and sugar in the Irish diet? 92% of those surveyed said yes. So people want this, whether we like it or not. So we do have a task ahead. And as I said, it's one of the tools in our toolbox, and our goal is to reduce target nutrients to ensure healthier choices are available to Irish consumers, and indeed the consumers of Irish food abroad, because we do have an opportunity to influence globally. I want to take this opportunity to recognise the progress that the industry has made to date, but there is a need for us to all do more. Your leadership to date is very welcome, but we need to go further. And today is about working through some of the challenges, but also learning about what is possible and taking that knowledge and applying it. We recognise that this is a challenging time for the food industry. It's a challenging time for all of us. The UK have left the European Union, as we know, and we're still dealing with that aftermath. And indeed, we're still trying to understand what that's going to mean from a regulatory perspective and indeed from a consumer perspective. We're also dealing with the aftermath of COVID-19, and I would say perhaps not even the aftermath, because we're not even too sure we're through the worst of it. I presume we're through the worst of it, but we never know. This virus kept telling us something different. As one, we thought we were managing our way through it, and then it changed, it did something that then created another need for us to become more agile. Pressure is mounting on companies to become more sustainable, but this is the right thing to do. We have an incredibly ambitious strategy by the food industry called Food Vision 2030. It has an ambition to be for Ireland to be a world leader in sustainable food systems by 2030. That isn't just about sustainable production, it's about sustainable consumption of food, about consuming food that is healthier for us. It's also about managing food loss and indeed food waste. We do recognise the costs are rising, both for consumers and indeed for the industry, and that the food industry is facing supply chain issues due to the war in Ukraine, but indeed just the disruption of the global food supply system because of the shocks that it has experienced over the last number of years. I fully understand, and we within the task force and the FSAI understand, that we are asking for fundamental changes during a time that probably doesn't seem ideal for anyone. But if the last few years, as I said, has taught us anything, change is constant and our health is precious, and the protection of public health and delivery on better health outcomes must be paramount and foremost in our minds. It is a challenging time for people's health and well-being, as I've said already with the statistics. We simply can't afford to put the health of the nation on hold. We all have a part to play in enabling people to build healthier lives. Overweight and obesity are linked to more deaths worldwide than being underweight. The WHO has identified the food industry as playing a significant role in promoting healthier diets by reducing the fat, sugar, salt content of processed foods, and this is what we're asking you to do. We know that reformulation efforts can't happen without you, hence today's workshop. It is about bringing people together who have experience in reformulating their foods and being successful. but equally those who have not reformulated yet and who are thinking about it, understanding what can you do, and not necessarily reinventing the wheel. You're a key stakeholder in this endeavour, and it's important for us within the FSAI and indeed our colleagues within Healthy Ireland and the Department of Health for us to work together, to really see how we can leverage and optimise the expertise and the experience of each other. So I'm really delighted to see so many of you here today and so many of you engaged in finding a way to progress towards the targets that have been set. I hope you have the courage and the commitment to step up and make this happen. You have a unique but important opportunity to play and can play a key role in improving health of the nation for the better. Because I don't believe, nor I don't think any of you believe, that we can continue to turn a blind eye to the role that foods can play. Those foods that are high in fat, sugar and salt and calories, they do play a significant role in the obesity problem present in Ireland. And indeed, probably in many other countries as well, and more than likely. Many of our European and international counterparts are asking the same of their food industry, so we're not unique here in Ireland in asking you this. And they're already well on their way to achieving their national targets and doing what they can to combat overweight and obesity. But indeed, other countries are looking to us and how we do things in Ireland as well, and learning from us as well. So we're having a lot of engagement with other European countries and our international counterparts as well in this endeavour. But we really must not be left behind. I said we had an ambition of being a world leader in sustainable food systems, and part of that, a critical part of that, is about sustainable consumption. And of course, part of sustainable consumption is about healthy diets. So I don't think we want to be left behind, nor should we be left behind, and your support in this regard is really, really important. In fact, if we move quickly, I think we can really demonstrate true leadership in this space. And we can get ahead of it. We've shown in Ireland that we really can get ahead in many, many races that have gone on, and this is one that I truly believe that we can win. And that's down to your dedication, it's down to your commitment, and indeed also the work that you've already done. So I don't want you to think that we're starting from a zero base. I know you're not. You've been thinking about this for a very long time. And in fact, many of you have not been just thinking about it, and we'll hear today about those that have been doing it. So today's workshop is an initiative of the Reformulation Task Force. And just to go and give you a little bit of a history around the setting up of the task force, the Department of Health established the Food Reformulation Task Force, which is a partnership between the Food Safety Authority and Healthy Ireland, with the purpose of implementing the 2021 to 2025 Food Reformulation Product Roadmap. The task force aims to drive progress towards food reformulation targets to reduce sugar, to reduce calories, saturated fat, and also salt in everyday processed foods and drinks, ultimately improving the population's diet and overall health. We're delighted in the FSAI to work with Healthy Ireland on this initiative. We believe we are, and I hope you do believe as well, that we are well placed to lead this task force due to our significant experience already in reformulation, and also in addition our nutrition expertise within the organisation, as well as the fact that we have very good and very strong working relationships with the industry on many of the activities of the FSAI. So today's event is an opportunity for food businesses to connect, for you to connect with one another, for you to share knowledge and to learn from one another. And I do know and I do believe that many of the companies here who have reformulated are very willing to share that information with maybe some of the smaller companies. So today really is an opportunity for you to connect, and please take the time today to think about how each and every one of you can contribute to this important endeavour and make sure that we have healthy choices for our consumers. There are challenges ahead, but indeed there are opportunities. So before I finish my opening remarks, I just want to really express my gratitude to you, to every one of you, for the commitment you've demonstrated so far, but equally just for being here today, because I think part of some of the challenges that we face seem, when we're on our own, insurmountable. But in fact, when you come together and you learn from one another and you're open to sharing those experiences and hearing those experiences, we can really, really make a difference. Today's event will be comprised of a policy statement from Catherine Kern from Healthy Ireland from the Department of Health. Next, there will be an overview of the reformulation business support available from Teagasc and indeed Enterprise Ireland. And I'm delighted that Jim is here and also Shay from Teagasc. Presenters will then provide 4 food reformulation case studies, followed by questions and answer sessions with industry representatives that I'll moderate. And on the basis of the legitimate interest in raising awareness and distributing information about food reformulation in Ireland, the speakers at this event will be recorded. So we want to take the recording of this session and we want to share it with others who couldn't join us in the room today. We won't be sharing the Q&A, we won't be recording that session, but we will be recording the presentations, and that will be then available for people to download from the FSAI's website. So once we've done all of that, we're going to give you a little bit of a break, a little bit of a breather to stand up and stretch your legs. You'll be delighted to hear. But we're then going to ask you to do a bit of work, because there's no free lunch in this world anymore. But I think this is an important opportunity for you to break out into smaller groups and really have that opportunity to share and learn from and ask those really difficult questions, those questions that I'm sure that you have in the back of your mind going, oh, my company is just not going to be able to do this. But I'm sure that question has been asked by other companies in the room, and they have they've successfully managed to navigate the challenges and answered that question, and they have reformulated their foods. So then we're going to have some lunch, and then we'll come back together for the closing event. But I would like to, before I do close and hand over to Catherine, to really express my gratitude to colleagues in Teagasc. Declan, thank you so much for the use of the facility here in Teagasc, but also your partnership over the years and the focus and effort and energy that has been put in by Teagasc and your colleagues in supporting businesses to really understand how they can reformulate their foods, and indeed in many other areas of food science. And also to your colleagues for the help in organising this, because it doesn't just happen by chance. There are lots of people who are sitting in front of me who've been involved in organising this. So what do we want you to take away from today? And as a professor at Zagreb School of Medicine and the WHO 2022 Champion for Global Health Promotion said recently, we cannot solve the problem of child obesity alone. It takes all of us sharing our best ideas and working together to help preserve and promote the health of our children. Is there no better ambition that we should have? And that was my quote, not hers. We are hoping today there will be an opportunity for that worthwhile discussion on food reformulation, and it's a chance, as I said, for you to connect and to see what other companies are doing to achieve the targets that have been set in the roadmap. It is one of the most effective ways in which food businesses can contribute to reducing obesity and improving public health, but it is only one of the tools in the toolbox. There are many others as well. But in the absence of it, we can't achieve what it is we want to achieve, which is better public health. We hope that you'll find it useful and that you will bring back any insights to your companies and organisations to reformulate your food for greater good. But you are the companies that will have the greatest impact on the success of reformulation in Ireland. And I've no doubt, and I'm sure the task force has no doubt, and I hope you have no doubt in your mind, that you will be able to step up to the mark and to succeed. So thank you very much for listening to those opening remarks, but now we're going to really get into the meat of the discussion today, and I'm going to now pass over to my colleague in the Department of Health, Catherine Kern, who is in the Health and Wellbeing Programme, and I believe just recently joined, but delighted to have you here, Catherine. Thank you so much for joining us, and it is really important that we have partners in this, and in partnership with the Department of Health is really critical for success. So Catherine, over to you. Thank you.